Richard! Richard, help!
Shawn,
Yeah, it's me!
why are you in a sewer?
I was looking for the turtles.
You were as pathetic as you are sad. Now listen to this, because it's a Pod Bros exclusive. I'll go get a ladder. What's up, everybody? I'm Richard,
And I'm Shawn.
and we're speaking the language of bromance. And it's a lazy day for me. I like lazy days. I've spent my time watching videos on Fallout 4 and wringing my hands about not being able to get it.
Well, so, and one of the reasons you can't get it is because, you've got so much stuff on your plate, right?
Exactly.
You come home and the wife's like, hey, we need a new TV stand. And you're like, You're right, honey. We do need a new TV stand.
Yeah, that happened. If I had a nickel for every time that happened,
You come into my house, I have all these damn TV stands.
right, I would have so many nickels.
Some women are obsessed with shoes. Mine's obsessed with TV stands.
Right? So I have so much going on. I have the wife, the kids, I have the side business where I'm trying to sell TV stands.
So I want to, we like to help people prepare for, we talk about the dangers of nature, right? So we kind of consider ourselves a group of guys that like to share knowledge to help other people out there. I mean, you would consider that accurate,
We're
right?
givers. We're givers. And all we want is what's best for mankind. And what's best for mankind is to protect ourselves from the evil, cruel mistress that is Mother Nature.
Well, this isn't necessarily Mother Nature, but this is definitely commerce that fucked me in the A, if you will.
Uh-oh.
So I shared this story with you a little bit, but I want to share it with our audience. So one day I'm sitting at work, typing away, doing all my worky stuff, and I get a text message over lunch from the wife saying, hey, how would you feel about driving 2 hours away and going to an Ikea store and picking up a TV stand?
Don't do it. Don't do it. It's a trap. It's a trap.
She's like, well, we'll drive down there, we'll pick it up, we'll get something to eat, and we'll be back. So like all said and told, I'm doing the math in my head. If we leave about 6, we'll get there at 8, pick that thing up. We'll be eating somewhere by 9, back on the road by 9:30. We should be home, at a decent time. You've never been to an Ikea store, right?
I have never been to an Ikea store. My wife has this weird thought that I should just make furniture like I'm fucking Geppetto back in here. Like I'm just going to just cobble together a couch. Why not?
What are you doing back there? Like, don't you have tools to whittle all that stuff? I mean, come on, Richard.
Bear in mind that I'm not a handyman. I have little to no experience in anything that I do. But there was in this camper we bought, there were these beds. Like she wanted more space for people to sleep, so I built bunk beds. Now, when I say I built bunk beds, basically this is code for I took a bunch of pieces of wood and using a drill basically formed it together in a shape that you could put mattresses on. Not much really more than that. And so now every time she's like, hey, let's build a couch, or let's build a chair, let's build a table. I'm like, I don't know how. She's like, well, you built those bunk beds. And I'm like, it's not the same thing at all.
It's like when somebody finds out that you are a programmer or something, like, oh, you know computers. What's wrong with mine? It's like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I have no idea. Push Control, Alt Delete. That always works.
Restart, shut it down, or just buy a new one. Tiffany sends me that text. She's like, I found the one I want. It shouldn't be a big deal to go pick out. And to me, whenever you look online, and this is the other thing. So she looked online and she said that the cost of it was like $100 or whatever. But for them to ship it to us, it was going to be like another $200. So you'd be paying
That's insanity.
Yeah, double the price. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm like, they just have to stick a label on a box and ship it to us. Like, why is it so expensive?
Meanwhile, Amazon's like, hey, if you spend more than $4, then we'll ship it for free.
Yeah. Or if you pay us $20 up front, you can have, free shipping next day.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, that's fine. I don't mind going on a little road trip. It's nice to get away from the house, and I could go for some food that's not from around here. So I'm like, okay, let's do this.
Yeah, road trip.
So the drive down's fun. She says, hey, you can listen to all the podcasts you want on the way down. So obviously I listen to our library of podcasts because that's all I listen to.
While your wife was just nothing but ecstatic and full of glee.
Well, she was getting another TV stand, so she was very ecstatic.
Oh, that's fair, I suppose.
So we get to the store. When we pull in, it is this massive ass building. Because I've heard of IKEA. I think I've put an IKEA, not a bookshelf, but like a coffee table together once.
I have never owned. I don't own anything by IKEA.
But this IKEA store was just massive, and I think of it like a Import One, or what's that store called?
Pier One?
Pier One or something like that. So we walk in, there's an escalator, there's like a food court, and we get there at 8 o'clock and it closes at 9. So we have an hour to pick up what I think is just going to be picking up a box of, hey, this is our TV stand, walking to the counter, paying for said box of TV stand,
yeah,
and leaving.
Just go to the TV stand section and grab your thing and then head to checkout, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought. So we're walking around, and it's very Pier 1 stuff. They've got all your, kind of oddity things that a lot of people put in, like, fake flowers or, storage stuff. But nothing like, no TV stand boxes. And we're walking around trying to find it. And finally we're like, hey, we need to find an associate. We got to figure out what the hell is going on. Because it's like a maze. You're walking around, and I'm expecting like a Minotaur to jump out at me and chase me.
Yeah.
Which would have been awesome. And this place was packed, too. That's the other thing I forgot.
You're seeking the TV stand of Pythagoras. And then you're like, hang on, babe, I got this.
This has been my dream ever since I was 12.
I will destroy you, evil Minotaur, and find the TV stand for my wife.
I love IKEA so much.
That would be awesome.
But this place is seriously packed. Like it's Walmart packed. Like you're trying to walk around people and try and figure out what the hell's going on. But finally we're like, okay, we got to find somebody. So we find an associate.
How long did that take? Did that take a while?
There's a lot of people wearing IKEA shirts that kind of just ignored us almost. You kind of start walking to them and they'd be like, "Pew!" You start walking and be like, "Pew!"
Then you see one guy and you're like, oh, thank God, finally an associate. And then he's like, no, I just really love the store.
Yeah, I love this shirt.
I bought one of their shirts.
But what Tiffany and I did is there's a guy near a computer. So she came around one side and I came around the other. He saw her and came to me. I was like, gotcha, bitch.
Yeah, like raptors.
It's like, yeah, he's like, clever girl. I'm like, I'm a guy. In IKEA, we're all girls. Nature finds a way. It's like, all right, whatever. So Tiffany's, talking to the guy. She says, hey, we're trying to find this TV stand. Where do we go? And he's like, oh, I think that's in the self-service furniture area. And I'm like, well, okay. I mean, obviously we're probably going to be the ones carrying it out. That's self-service, I guess. But it's IKEA. It's fancy. It's foreign. So I'm like, maybe they're just talking in their, foreign whateverness.
They're crazy IKEA speak.
Yeah, exactly.
Bak und tak TV stand?
So he's like, okay, and he walks us, we're walking to where we need to go for the self-service furniture area. And to me, I'm thinking like we're going to come to a spot where there's going to be a TV stand already, put together.
Right.
And then like stacks of boxes saying, hey, here's your TV stand of parts.
Yeah.
We walk around a corner and then we walk out into this extremely ginormous warehouse, like 30, whatever you want to call those pallets tall.
Like Home Depot kind of?
Exact. Like probably you take a Home Depot, then double it. That's what this place looked like.
Damn.
And so I'm like, wow, that's a lot of boxes of stuff. Thinking like each section is a thing already put together. And he's like, all right, well, here you go. Go pick out your parts you need.
Wait a minute. Your parts?
Yes. So we're looking at each other like, what the hell? And we're walking around still trying to like, none of us, neither one of us processed this yet when he's like, okay, go pick out your parts. We're like, I'll pick up the TV stand box. That should have parts in it.
You know, the way God intended us to get furniture.
Yes. And as we're looking at each of these spots, it's like just individual pieces. So here's a wheel. Here's a set of screws.
Oh, no. So you're telling me this whole thing's like some big fucking scavenger hunt? Like you're wandering around the warehouse from the end of the Ark of the Covenant, or the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark, and you're wandering around trying to fucking find this piecemeal. Okay, so exactly how do you know what parts you need?
So that's the other thing. They have these kiosks kind of spread around the store. And what you do is you type in the part that you're looking for, or you search for the part you're looking for. And then on the screen, it'll list every piece you need and the location in the store, in the warehouse that it's at.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And it gets better. So you're like, okay, so, I mean, that sucks, but you print it out and then you can just check off, right? No printers. You know what they give you? They give you what's like equivalent of a golf card. And you have a golf cart pencil, and you have to, write down your part, the number, and the location it's at. So if you fuck up and leave, you got to come back and get what you missed.
That's insane.
Yeah,
Why would you do that?
I have no idea.
No, I'm saying, why would you do that?
Oh, I didn't want to.
Wouldn't you just throw it up in the air and be like, fuck it.
Well, I started climbing up, and Tiffany's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just ending it all.
It's over.
The mass
this is where
suicide
I can't
in Ikea.
stand no more.
And what's funny is, we got, like I said, we got there like right at 8, and they closed at 9. And the store was still packed. And it took us a half hour before both of us realized, like, oh, shit. We have to pick out every single part in 30 minutes. And they're already announced.
It's like a game show.
Yeah, and they're already announced. It's like, oh, please get your last items because we close in 30 minutes. I was like, I was already throwing in the towel. I was like, Tiffany, there's no way we can find all this shit and get out here in 30 minutes. I don't even.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even know what to do with my hands right now. I mean, we can hide out in the store until they close, and then we can get all of our parts and be the first ones in line tomorrow morning, maybe. But I don't know what we can do, babe. I'm sorry. But she was extremely determined. She had already written out all the stuff after we figured that part out. And she went and found another associate because we tried to.
Right at that point, she's completely ignoring you. And she's like, okay, so I've got the list of parts.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm like, babe, we have 25 minutes. Okay, so we've got the list of parts we need. Now let's find row 1, section 37, slot D. I'm like, is that a D or a P? It's a D. Okay. All right. And the slots that they had set up. So we got to the first one. I'm like, okay, that can't be that bad.
See, now it's like now bear in mind, you have to do this perfectly because if you don't, let's say you miss a bolt, that's a 4-hour drive for that bolt.
Yeah. Or a $300 expense to have them ship it to you.
Ugh.
And so we get to our first spot because I'm like, okay, we can figure this out. There's like 15 different things we needed. I'm like, I've been in a warehouse before. I have a decent understanding of how, it's row, it's level, it's, section. We can figure this out. We get to the first one. There's like 6 pieces just pretty much jumbled together like a pick your poison kind of thing. Like when you go to comic shops and they have that, hey, here's a, comics bundled together for a nickel, pick out the one you want.
Yeah.
It felt like that. Like you're scouring through this to find that perfect item that you need on your list.
And then she's like, okay, I've got the part. And Shawn, what are you doing? You're like, I'm looking for the parts to build a handgun to shoot myself with.
I need the Ikea gun. I need the eye gun. I can't take all this pressure. And so, again, like we just hear like, okay, 15 minutes till we close. Please get your last purchases and come to the front. And so I'm like, Tiffany, there's no way we can do this, babe. Like, there's just no possible way. And she just storms off, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna stand here and see where this goes.
Here we go.
And she finds an associate and brings him over, and she's like, listen, we cannot figure this out. Can you help us? He's like, oh, you must not be Ikeaites, are you? Like, no, and we're never coming back again. This is the
You're like, baka TV stand?
TV stand, yes. So he kind of pinpoints us to the right spot, and even he's having trouble finding it. And there's still like a ton of people picking things out. So we weren't the only one doing this. And finally, it's like 2 minutes till 9. We get the last piece, throw it in our cart, and we start walking to the front. And again, in my head, I'm thinking, all right, we're going to get to the front. There's going to be like one pissed off register person. Because like, oh yeah, you're the kind of person coming up here 2 minutes till we close. Thanks, fuckface.
The whole thing just is devolving into a very, very terrible situation. And I get the feeling that almost it's going to evolve into the part where and be like, oh, so then we drove home 2 hours in silence.
Well, so we get to the front, we get to the register area, and there's still like 50 people in line.
Oh, Lord.
And they've got like 6 register open. Like it's there. If you just walked into the store, you wouldn't think that.
So you actually did manage to find all the parts?
We found all the parts.
You found all the parts.
We got through the line, and we're leaving the store at like 9:10. So I mean, they were still late. Like we still kept people there late.
Well, they deserve it. Bunch of
I know.
jerks putting all their things in a fucking warehouse. Why can't? Well, here's my thing: is like in my brain, I would think it would make more sense to say that like if they want to do parts, they could just be like, okay, here's the TV stand, and all the parts are underneath it. And then, like, next to it, be like, here's a couch, and here's the parts underneath it, and here's a chair, and the parts underneath it. You know what I'm saying? Like, instead of having everything in a box, like, if they want to have all the parts in a bin or whatever, okay, but...
Well, that's genius on their part, though, because they basically just have a warehouse, and all their parts are interchangeable, so they can be used for different, furniture that they have. So you just send people on wild goose chases, they pick all their stuff out, and they're like, oh... we're not buying that mass-made crap that you get at Walmart or Kmart or anything like that. This is unique because we're picking out our parts. It's like, well, this is actually extremely mass-produced because the parts you have here are interchangeable for other pieces.
Yeah, it's even more mass-produced than the crap you buy at someplace else.
Yeah, and so we get through the line and we pay it. Like, they were still just busy as hell, like I said. And... I mean, Tiffany was happy. She's like, oh, well, that was kind of an adventure.
Was she okay, so she's happy that you got the TV stand. Okay, let's take how was your mood at this point?
I was pissed. At this point, I would have wished we just bought or just had them ship it to us.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I had told her, I'm like, we're never coming to Ikea again. I can already tell you this.
Yeah.
We are never setting foot in this store again.
Right. And then she's like, oh, look, they have a whip bar. And you're like, fuck.
They've got organic juice. This is amazing. But yeah, so we're trying to, and we're standing in line. There's a couple next to us. I'm like, hey, do you know a good like place to go eat? Because one, I hadn't eaten yet dinner, so it was like 9 o'clock and I was starving. So that always makes things worse.
Oh, somebody was hangry.
Yeah, she gets pretty hangry too. And so we get everything to the truck, and of course it just barely fits into the truck. So I was kind of nervous about that.
All these parts, and they just, like, was there a lot?
Well, it's pretty long. Like, they had a board that was probably 8-9 feet long, and the bed of my truck's probably about 6 or 7 feet, so it was a little tight.
And also, like, how did they, like, okay, say, like, all the bolts and stuff like that, are they just sitting there in, like, a bin, and then it's like, oh, you need 8 of these bolts, and 3 of these bolts and stuff like that?
No, they're all packaged together, so you do end up with a lot of extra parts. Because after I didn't help put it together, I refused to help put it together. But Tiffany got it put together, and she had like half a bag of bolts and stuff left over. So pretty much, it's like, hey, we sell these in dozens, but everything needs 16 bolts instead of 12.
So that way, when the next time you go, you have bolts.
I was very, very nervous when she was putting that together. She was going to be like, oh, shit, I'm missing this piece. Or, oh, crap, I got the wrong piece.
Yeah.
It's like, oh well, I guess we'll have to make do. Get out the super glue.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. Be like, I've got a bolt. It's called duct tape.
But as we were leaving, we both kind of looked at each other like, okay, well, I guess I can see why they charge the extra $200 for shipping. One, it's for shipping, and one's to pay somebody to go through this fucking maze and figure out all the parts you need. But it just blows my mind that they expect, like, you walk up there, and even if they just had a printer that printed all that stuff out, it'd make it so much easier. But the first time going through, you don't know what to do, so you'll hurry up and jotting things down. You've got 30 minutes to get it all.
But if they have a printer, then that means they're spending money on paper. It's much easier for them to just, be like, guess you can figure it out.
That's basically what it is. Like, okay, here you go, kids. Good luck. Figure out what you need. We'll probably see you back because that's what happens.
Okay, here's the better question. Did it seem, after you spent the money on all these parts, because I assume they ring all these parts in separately, by the time you spend all this money on parts, was it the price that they advertised on the website?
I think it was actually a little bit cheaper. It was like $50 cheaper or $20 cheaper than what they had on the website.
Okay.
Because I mean, I don't know if she just told me it was more expensive, so that like I felt like I had won when I got there. Because maybe she realized that this is what this place was, and she knew I was going to be a big clusterfuck for me, so she didn't tell me.
That's entirely possible. That she was just like, "Oh, we'll go to Ikea. It'll be a great time." And then you're like, "All right."
All right, I can carry a box. I'll show you my manliness and pick up a big heavy box.
And then she's like, this is something that I can only pull off on him once.
Because if I do it again, he will kill himself. Honey, look at Ikea.
Where's that Ikea gun?
Why are you driving so quick to that bridge? Ikea in hell. That's actually what my hell is. It's just an Ikea.
It's just you in an Ikea store.
Satan's there. He's like, all right, I need you to get all the parts for this TV stand. It's like, well, where's the printer?
They hand you the golf cart and they hand you the golf cart and the pencil breaks and
hope you got a good memory.
No.
And the other, so it's a TV stand, and Tiffany gets it home and starts putting it together.
Was she happy on the drive home?
I think we were both pretty exhausted because we did get something to eat, and then we started driving home. But it was 10:30 by the time we started heading home. I think we'd both thought we had been leaving at like 9:30.
Right.
And so we're like, oh, we'll get home by 11. That won't be too bad. But we're really getting home at like 12:30 now. So we're both just, I think, pretty much aware that tomorrow morning is going to suck. Because this was a Monday, too. This was a Monday night.
Oh, I see.
So it wasn't even like a Friday night where it's, we can sleep in tomorrow or anything like that. We are going to work in the morning. And basically we were tired, annoyed, and whatever other bad things you could say.
Yeah, that sounds like an all-round, in general, terrible experience that I'm glad I get to look at it from afar.
Yeah, and that next day as I'm walking around work, or if I see any random strangers, I'm like, hey, have you ever been to an Ikea? They're like, no. I'm like, don't ever go.
And then there's that one guy's like, I remember Ikea.
Yeah.
Why didn't you warn me?
See this scar? This is when I had to reach into that bag of screws.
Why didn't you tell me?
But yeah, so Ikea, is not a fun time is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that sounds like a very not fun time. Like I've bought furniture and I've had to put it together. But that's usually, everything's in a box and you take stuff out and slide slot A, tab A into slot B and screw Q into. Yeah, yeah. Next question. That brings me to my next point. Now that I'm thinking about it, how are you knowing how to put it together?
Yeah, that's what I was just going to bring up. So we get home, bring in all the boxes, and Tiffany wasn't going to put it together that night. So we're to day two of this Ikea adventure. She's like, okay, well, I'm going to put this together. And that night you and I were going to do a podcast. So I'm like, okay, well, Richard and I are going to be doing our show. So, have fun. And as she starts looking at the boxes, she kind of puts her hands on her hip and looks back at me. And she's like, how are we going to put this together? And I had the same revelation you just did. I'm like, yeah, there were no instructions, were there?
Yeah.
I just kind of shrugged my shoulders. I'm like, good luck, babe. Walk back to the room. Well, I didn't do that. I
That's
said, well,
the terrible thing. That's when the terrible dawning moment happened. It was just like, all right, well, we got all the parts and like we saved some money, and yeah, I mean the trip was kind of shitty, but it all turned out okay. We then saved some money, and here we go. Time to put together our TV stand. Now let me just get the shit.
Well, maybe we can figure it out on our own.
Apparently that's Ikea's motto.
Yeah. Fuck you. Go do it yourself. That's Ikea's motto.
Yeah, it's just a guy with you just see like an Ikea ad, and it's just a guy with like his shoulders shrugged and his hands up in the air, and be like, "Oh no, you figure it out."
That's what the door people, they don't even open the door for you or anything. They just, like you said, show your shoulders. Like, fuck, I don't know, you figure it out.
Oh.
This seems like the greatest and worst job ever. But I told her, I was like, well, surely they have them online, right? Like, there's no way they're going to make people try to figure out how to put this shit together.
Yeah.
And so she went back to the page, and
Yeah, or probably the best thing would be if you would have went online, they said, oh, don't forget on your way out to grab your instructions. Shit.
Well, you want to go back and get that other little rug that I liked? No, I don't. We're taking all this shit back. They don't take returns. Well, you know what? We're going to have a bonfire in the Ikea parking lot.
I'm going to hand out torches and pitchforks. And you know what? They're going to be put together when I hand them out.
That's funny. But it took her like 2 days to put it together. And she was it wasn't the easiest thing to put together. And then as we're putting in like my PlayStation and my receiver and stuff like that, they just barely fit in there. End up breaking my Roku player. Oh. Because I was trying to get stuff out in that bin. So that put me in a shitty mood.
So you found the instructions online, and then
yeah, they were online.
So you found the instructions online, and then Tiffany did Tiffany have trouble putting it together?
It took a little bit of work. So the only bad things that, like I said, the Roku player broke, and the stuff just barely fit in there. And then she ended up stripping a screw. So to put the doors on this thing, she put one piece on before the other. I think like the shelf needed to go on first, but she put the door on first. Uh-huh. So she's like, well, shit. She's like, okay, well, I got to unscrew this. And she comes back here when I was doing something. She's like, hey, I think I stripped the screw. Like, fuck. So you go in there trying to undo it, and it was stripped. And it's that, I just added to the extra time to try and figure out how to get the damn thing together.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. That's a bonding experience.
Yeah, all in all, like this, it sounds like I'm better off. I'm glad I have never been to Ikea.
Well, like I said, anybody I talk to for the next couple of days, I asked them if they've ever been to Ikea, and I said, well, this is what an Ikea is. You go in, you have to find all your own stuff. If that sounds fun, go ahead and go. But, to me, that is a horrible time.
I wonder if like you could just make up your own shit.
Maybe. Yeah, probably.
Like theoretically, right? I would think, yeah.
I bet you could sit and kind of cipher through like different pieces, and you could, put them together. Yeah, I think that's possible.
Just be like, what are you doing? I'm building I built an
IKEA boat.
Yeah. It's all put together with boards and dowel rods. That'd be awesome.
But I wanna shine a light. The IKEA experience was awful and horrible and, not my cup of tea, but there are some cup of teas for some people. And I haven't told you about this story yet that I found, but it seems like something we should talk about.
Uh-oh.
Because we love nature. We
do. I thought that's what we were leading off with because we started talking about nature, but apparently it was just the nature of IKEA.
Yeah, this is a tie-in. So this is where nature's kind of a good thing, I guess.
Like nature hates you, just like IKEA.
Yeah, that's our new slogan. It's going on a shirt. So, I haven't shared this article title with you, so I'm curious what you'll think. So there's a Canadian scientist that thrills the web by live tweeting spider sex. No, this isn't a Spider-Man porn. This is actual spider sex.
Oh, see, you told I was thinking of that movie what was it, like the Tale of Spider Woman? It was like I don't remember who the actress was, but like everything was cool, and then like at the end, like a web just hits him in the face.
I've never seen that.
Oh, me neither. I heard somebody told me a story about it. I read it on WikiHow.
Okay. So apparently this scientist in Canada did a play-by-play of a Black Widow mating session in Toronto. I guess this makes the spider seem more sweet.
So these are Black Widows having sex.
Yeah, and and we all know what happens after a Black Widow gets her rocks off, right?
What do they do?
Don't they kill their mate?
I don't know. Isn't that praying? I thought praying mantises did that. They like bit the head off, right?
Yeah, I know praying mantises do.
Black Widows kill their mate too? Yeah, that makes sense because then they always call like female serial killers. They always call them Black Widows. I mean, fuck. There's a superhero Black Widow. I just thought that's because Black Widows are scary spiders.
Maybe that's what it is. But I'll read you a few of her tweets. This is Catherine Scott. So her intro to this, she says, "So, what are y'all up to? I'm waiting for some spiders to get it on, and they are taking their sweet time. Hashtag science." And let's just say I'm sure Catherine Scott's followers just zoomed through the roof.
I bet they did. You know, what if, okay, like, do spiders have some sort of courting? Like, you know how, like, before we try and mate with somebody, we usually, like, take them out to dinner. Like, we go see a movie and then go back to our place. And after, 20 minutes of begging and
crying, usually in my case.
Yeah. A little bit of crying, then the pity usually takes hold of them and they give it up, right?
Yeah. Well, apparently Miss Scott was trying to have a huge widow orgy. So in her next tweet, she says that these 3 male widows entered their respective females' webs about 2 hours ago. One of them just touched the female. The others are just chilling.
The others? Oh, so this is like spider orgy?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So how it's played out is there's 3 couples basically, and so they all kind of are sitting there talking with each other, and two of the males are kind of standoffish. They don't have any game, and the other one's like, "I'm gonna touch your leg, Webb. I'm gonna touch your leg, Miss Widow."
Yeah. Oh, see, it'd be awesome if they had somebody like narrating it.
That's what she's doing here.
And they could put some sexy music behind it. Be like, wow, wow,
wow. I feel bad though for Widow.
Yeah, here comes Mr. Widow.
Male Widow 1 that put his hand on his female's leg. Quickly, Miss Scott tweets out, "Oh wait, no. The first male to make contact has taken a step back, is now engaged in some serious self-grooming." So he's all like, "Hey, babe, you want to?" She's like, "No."
Like you do.
That's the story of my life. You're laying in bed, you put your hand on your wife's leg.
You look so cute. Oh wait.
No, well, no. So you're laying in bed. I'm sure this has happened to you. You put your hand on your wife's leg, and you're like, "Hey, babe, you wanna?" She's like, "No." You're like, "Oh, okay. Well, I gotta go to the bathroom to do what, babe? Some self grooming." Is that code for masturbating? What I do in the bathroom is my own business.
Yeah. That's private. I don't ask you what you do in the bathroom. Yes, you do. That's not important.
So I guess there's some time that kind of goes by, and she comes back. So this is great. So we have the males trying to get some action, and nothing happens. So male number 1.
Okay. I just to kick it back for a second. Why is it that male masturbation is kind of like you don't want to watch that. Like, I don't want to watch that. Nobody wants to watch that. Like, nobody wants to see a video of me jerking off. But you can watch a video of, like, any woman in the world, going at it, and you're like, whoa. Is that just because we're guys and we like girls?
Maybe. I don't know. You'd probably have to ask, because women don't really, see guys like that, at least not most women. So you'd almost have to ask, a gay guy, I think, because they have the same, I would assume they would have the same kind of thoughts like guys do, is just they always think about sex, but they're attracted to dudes.
Yeah.
Do they find that sexy, a dude just tugging one out? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. See, to me, for me, like, I think like women are just prettier. And I'm not saying that I mean, yes, I'm saying that as a straight male, but I just mean in general. I mean, I think that's why we have, statues of the female form, and they're enshrined in sculpture and art, and they're just prettier. Like they're smoother, and and they smell nice. And like a guy, it's just like everything's lumpy and there's hair everywhere. And okay, here, perfect example. Okay, if you are walking down the street and you see, and I'm not saying this is right or wrong. I'm not trying to get into gender politics, or I'm not trying to get into politics on sexuality or whatever, because I'm I'm huge proponent of all of it. But in general, and I think this is the way society has gone. If you're walking down the street and you see two girls walking down the street holding hands, and that's all they're doing is they're holding hands. They're just walking down the street holding hands. I think that most people, men and women, don't really pay attention. They don't bat an eye to it. You walk down the street and you see two guys holding hands, it's something that's at the very least noticed.
Well, I mean, usually like guys don't go to the bathrooms together. There's the stigma or the thing where girls always go to the bathroom together.
Right.
So, I mean, you see two girls holding hands. They could just be friends. They could be together, but there's not as much thought on that. But you don't just see two random guys holding hands just because they're friends. At least.
Okay, and well, this thought just came to me. Okay, so women go to the bathroom in groups on occasion. Like, you're with a girl and she's with her friends, and girl goes to the bathroom. She, takes a friend with her or something like that. Okay. A guy goes to the bathroom and there's guys in there, whatever. But think about this. Women specifically go to the bathroom together, but they sit in stalls completely isolated from each other, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Guy goes into the bathroom and is at a urinal standing right next to a person who's also using the urinal, and there's no isolation there. Best case scenario, there's a little like partition between you, but that's not covering the entire thing.
You still know what's going on.
Exactly. So women go to the bathroom specifically together to talk and whatever. You and I could go to the bathroom and I can stare directly into your eyes while I'm pissing.
And actually, you have. We've been on a trip together, and that's happened.
You know what? We don't need to put that out there for other people.
Hey, give me a second. I'm going to use the restroom.
Oh, God. Me too.
I seriously had to go to the bathroom.
For a second, I thought that was actually part of a joke. You're like, hang on for a second. I gotta go to the bathroom. I was like, me too?
No, it works.
Oh, wait, he's really going to the bathroom.
I had chili, and it just kind of caught up to me. But I'll cut that part out. I'll leave the I gotta go to the bathroom, me too part, because I think that'll be funny.
No, put the chili part in there. Why not?
All right, so back to Miss Scott and these two, or I guess it's these three couples of Black Widow spiders. So spider number one tries to get some action going, and his significant other says, no, I have a headache.
Oh. Shut down spider style.
He takes matters into his own hands. So apparently male number one is throwing silk on the female, all in caps. This is where it starts to get exciting, folks. The bridal veil is happening.
Here we go.
So when I do it to Tiffany, it's disgusting. But when a spider does it, it's the bridal veil.
Exactly. You know what I'm wondering? If people were watching this going, hey, zip.
Oh, God, somebody did, yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody's reading her tweets like, oh, yeah, tell me, Miss Scott, what's happening next? Oh, he threw the silk. Oh, God. Oh, please say, bridal veil. Oh, God. Oh, God. So a little bit more time happens, and like spiders are like really weird now that I'm kind of reading some of these tweets. But apparently female number 3, she stopped moving finally. So she's like running around trying to get away from male number 3. Miss Scott roots this guy on. She says, come on, male number 3. Now is your time to shine. Get you some of that female 3 spider vagina.
Oh, so these spiders are like running the train.
Well, I think they're separated. So it's couples that aren't into swinging. They just kind of into voyeurism, I guess, would be more what you consider these spiders.
Okay. All right.
So all this awesomeness is happening, and she goes on to continue to do the play-by-play for this. And she gets really excited about this part because she says, male number 1, who shot the bridal veil, has done it. He has mounted the female.
Yeah.
Get you some, male number 1.
God, this is kind of creepy. Imagine if this was actual like porn, like with people.
That's play-by-play for porn. Maybe that's a new game show.
Yeah, and there's some like you're watching a video and then like the male has shown his bridal veil.
But this is more of like a married couple because her next tweet is so playing the scene out. So male number 1 has mounted his female. He's ready to impregnate his woman.
Yeah, here we go.
Miss Scott's next tweet is, and the female casually brushed him aside with a hind leg.
Ouch.
He drops on the drag line and regroups. We've all been there.
Male number 1 just got friend zoned.
Yeah. I can only imagine a more awkward friend zone moment. Like, so it's okay. This is what happens.
Yeah.
These spiders went out, had a good time. And so they're like, okay, well, we're all going to go back to our own place. And male number 1 was like, oh yeah, we are.
Yeah, let's go back to your place.
So female number 1 is like, all right, well, let's go to bed. And, male number 1's like, oh yeah, I know where this is going.
Yeah.
And they get in bed and he like kind of starts to get on top of her. She's like, whoa, what the fuck you doing, man? I just wanted to cuddle. Oh yeah, me too. Just wanted to cuddle.
Yeah.
You remind me of my sister. That you're right. Yeah, I just want to cuddle. Aww. You're like a brother to me. Oh, I'm gonna go shoot. I'm gonna go jump off an Ikea.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
But male number 1, he doesn't let this put him down.
You know what? And that's good.
Yes.
Keep it strong, male number 1.
It's like, I mean, he's basically taking advantage of this woman, this female spider.
Yeah.
Like we said, nature's cruel.
It is. Yes, it is.
So her next tweet is, male number 1 is boldly approaching the female for a second try. So he's like, oh, I know. It's, goddamn, this is like the story of my life. Get told no by the lady friend, your wife.
Go get him, male number 1.
That's what I'm going to start saying in my head. Tiffany's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, don't say that during sex. Tiffany's going to come home tonight and you're going to be like, let's go, male number 1. What are you talking to? And then she pushes you off with her hind leg.
Yeah. So as male number 1 boldly approaches his female for a second try, I guess he gets on top because he is vibrating his tiny little abdomen like a champion. So this dude's doing like 6-minute crunches.
Oh, yeah, see, I've done that where like, it's kind of like where you suck it in and make like kind of like you have a 6-pack and then you wait until she's not looking and then you're like, yeah. Right? I mean, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much. And she's got a picture here of what appears to be the spider's testicles. That's getting kind of creepy.
That's dirty.
Yeah. And after that, she gives I guess because her followers just jump through the roof, so she kind of shares this with them. She says, welcome, new followers. Come for the spider porn, stay for the spider facts.
A famous tagline if I've ever heard one. I bet it was male number 1 that actually did it. He's like, oh, I meant to send that to you.
Yeah. No, I meant,
yeah.
Do you want a snack, not sex? Do you want to have a snack? That's what
Spider takes a picture of his balls and puts it on the internet, and it's cool. And I do it, and I'm banned from Facebook.
It's art, Facebook. Come on. So from everything she's talking about, male number 1 is the most determined to get him some booty tonight. So
right, I'm right there with. I'm rooting for male number 1. I'm like, come on, male number 1.
The problem is, I think he's got a little bit of spider dick going on, a little bit of whiskey spider dick.
Oh,
so he's maybe at this time she's like, all right, dude, let's do this. You've got me in the mood now. So male number 1, poor guy, appears to be having trouble navigating the web and drops down suddenly on a drag line.
Oh.
So male number 1's like, yes, I can do. Oh God. Oh, I'm sorry. This has never happened before. And then he hangs himself.
This is so sad. It's like Economy of Air. It's like a Benny Hill sketch.
Poor guy.
This is all sounding terrible. See, you're depressing me.
Yeah, and so she gets up the next morning. Because I guess she got tired of watching this for 3 hours and not seeing any action. Because I guess this would be like watching 3 hours of plot in a porno and no sex happens.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Like, wait a minute, this is all plot.
Yeah, it's not even good plot. I guess she says, so the next morning she kind of tweets out, she says, all right, well, by the way, I was able to go through the video from those mating trials this morning, and as far as I can tell, not a single mating occurred.
Oh. Yeah, that's where the realization comes in. Like I said, it's like watching a porn, it's all plot. It's like, oh, I went to watch a movie, and it just ended up being 3 girls that wanted to save a car wash.
I mean, I learned a lot about the running a business and advertising and keeping books, but they're very
I was
much
waiting for the sex.
I did learn that you shouldn't dump water on people because that's a safety hazard, and there's OSHA regulations, and I mean, it's very informative, but it kind of killed my boner. So Miss Catherine Scott kind of went through all this interaction that tried to happen that didn't happen, and basically there was no spider sex going on. There are no impregnated spiders in her whatever you call a person that owns spiders.
Oh, that's sad.
But it's funny because with spiders, you think of spiders having sex, it's just it's so microscopic, I guess, that you don't really think of it. Could you imagine like if Mr. John Deere is out. All right, I've got these $3 and these 3 does. we're gonna see with how they do when they have sex together.
Yeah,
like watching that video on the internet. You can't watch that video at work on the internet. But the spider sex one you could probably get away with.
True, man. If I had a nickel
for every time you've watched deer sex,
you know what? It's my life. I just wanted to watch a movie about 3 deers trying to save a car wash. You gotta get it all up in my grill. Okay, here's something that's spider related. In Logan, West Virginia, an assistant prosecutor in West Virginia has been suspended after pulling a gun and threatening to shoot fake spiders scattered around the office as Halloween decorations.
Oh, geez. Well, he probably, what happened is he watched that Twitter feed the whole night before, hoping to get his rocks off.
Right? And he's sitting there, he's got his pants undone. He's like, come on. And nothing happens. And so he's all like pent up. He's like, testosterone's flowing. And then he gets there and there's all these fake spiders. He's like, son of a bitch!
Mock me in my place of work, you black widows. Brian, what's wrong? Long night. I'm sorry. I'm just frustrated. Got a lot of pent up rage. I go to the 3 girls save a car wash video thinking it's going to be great. Lose 3 hours of my life. Then I go to the spider site and I lose another 4 hours of my life. And
the spider decorations have been removed, and he's barred. And Bennett, who is the Logan prosecuting attorney, Bennett has suspended the prosecutor on Wednesday, several weeks after the incident, because employees were still upset. The spider decorations have been removed, and Bennett has barred anyone other than the agency's investigator from carrying guns in the office. See, I didn't know that was a thing. Bring your gun to work.
I wonder, that seems odd. So is he just barred from work, or did he get fired, or?
The matter is under investigation.
That seems like that's one of those you get fired right away pretty quick kind of things.
Yeah, I would think so. Because honestly, if you're at the point where, I mean, if you're pulling a gun on fake spiders, like you're wound a little tight, man.
Yeah, I would say so.
Just a smidge.
That budget meeting you had planned that afternoon probably wasn't going to go well.
Oh, and in other nature-related news, a standoff in Boulder, Colorado, where prairie dogs hold a Buddhist college at bay.
How'd they do that?
Let's see. I'm scrolling through the story. For years, Naropa University for years has battled 150 persistent prairie dogs over 2.5 acres of prime real estate on its campus. One side wants to build more classrooms. The other one wants more tunnels.
Did you know? I've heard that prairie dogs actually have the bubonic plague. They are carriers of the bubonic plague.
I did not hear that. That's true.
I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard. That's why you're not supposed to eat them.
Is that a thing? Where people
That's
eat
what I've
prairie
heard.
dogs?
Yeah.
I've never looked at a prairie dog and come up with the thought that might be good eating.
Well, they're like a squirrel. I mean, people eat squirrel.
Killing them seemed out of character for a university dedicated to Buddhist precepts of compassion and the motto of do no harm. The industrious rodents swiftly built a prairie dog town of some 200 burrows, extending from the campus parking lot to a busy street to almost the front door. Plans to expand classroom space stalled, and in 2011, Naropa began searching for ways to relocate the animals. 4 years and $100,000 later, little has changed. Trapping and moving the rodents is easy enough. Finding someone who wants them is not.
Well, where are you gonna? I mean, you can't really where are you gonna move them to? It seems like those are the type of animals you can't just relocate.
Well, I mean, I guess if you take them far away enough, I mean, it's not like Homeward Bound where they're gonna make their way back.
They might, Michael J. Fox's voice in one of them.
And then we'll get a harrowing story about how see that, you know what it's like? It's like Avatar. It's like Avatar with prairie dogs.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
You take if you took one prairie dog and you have this this battle going on, and then you take one prairie dog and you stick it away. You send it 3 hours away, and then it. With all its prairie dog friends, it makes its way back to fight the big battle against the evil Buddhist university. Oh, shit. Here we go. So earlier this month, Naropa applied for a lethal control permit.
Uh-oh. What's a lethal control permit? What's that allow them to do?
That to bring out the big guns. Prairie dog defenders immediately sounded the alarm, and protesters converged on the campus. So so now this, they're like, yeah, I mean, we're Buddhist, and don't shoot your neighbor, but fuck these prairie dogs.
I mean, that's not really what Buddha, prairie dogs weren't even around when Buddha was here. He would say fuck these things too.
Activists also contacted the Dalai Lama, who had scheduled and later canceled a visit to Boulder this month. So the Dalai Lama's like, I don't want any part of this prairie dog controversy. I'm not coming down on one side or the other, but
he's like, listen, you let me know when Scott's live tweeting prairie dog sex, because I'll be all on that. But this whole thing, no, don't count me in on that part.
Ultimately, the university withdrew its lethal permit request. Oh, see, so they're like, yeah, no. So it worked. So the prairie dogs are winning.
So they were just wanting to build out, but they couldn't because the prairie dogs were there?
Right. And I guess any place else, they would just be like, hey, let's kill the prairie dogs and then, build our fucking school or whatever.
Yeah, you might give them a running chance. You'll start up the bulldozer and start hitting the ground, and if they move, they move. If not, they'll just be part of the new foundation.
Yeah.
Was that too dark?
A little bit.
Well, Richard, what have we learned today?
Well, I think we've learned that I think these are very good life lessons. Like, number one, understand a place before you go visit it, such as Ikea. Sometimes sex can be disappointing. I think, that should be a running theme. And we've learned that when push comes to shove, there's a chance that some Buddhists might shoot a prairie dog.
Is that going to be our formulated Richard's closing thoughts for this episode?
Yeah, I think that sums everything up and ties it up in a nice little bow.
All right. Well, I'll do a little bit of housekeeping. Visit our website. We're at languageofbromance.com. Follow us on Twitter at languageofbro. Email us at eatthebeaver@languageofbromance.com. Like us on Facebook and subscribe and leave a review on iTunes and Stitcher.
And don't forget to check us out on the Pod Bros Network.
The best podcast site on the internet where you want your live tweeted spider sex.
Yeah.
And also go to tweakedaudio.com if you're in the need for some headbuds and use the promo code LOBARMY and you'll get 33% off and some free shipping.
Free shipping.
All right. Well, is there anything else you want to do before I close her out?
Yes. We're going to do leading up to Star Wars The Force Awakens. I would be remiss if I didn't give you another lovely piece of Star Wars trivia. If anyone ever asks you what kind of ship the Millennium Falcon is, you can tell them that it's a Corellian YT 1300 transport. You know, if that ever comes up in casual conversation.
Well, we need to let everybody know there's going to be a quiz on this stuff after the show comes out, so they need to be ready.
Oh my God, I should do that. Just like go to people online and just ask them fucking questions.
That'd be awesome. All right. Well, I guess that's all the bromance we have for this show. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Richard.
And I say we eat the beaver.
But not the prairie dog.
I'm about ready to shoot my bridal veil. Pew!
But don't eat the prairie dog because it's got the bubonic plague.
My stomach. I gotta go to the bathroom.